Hi everyone. Today we have your senior and my batchmate Chaitanya Jolly, and this podcast has been scheduled since so long as he went to the ISRO for internship. So let's start with your intro, Chaitanya.
Hi guys, my name is Chaitanya. I am a fourth year student at Manipal University, Jaipur. I am currently in the AML department and I did a summer internship at ISRO Ahmedabad as a research intern.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning of your college. As we know, we both came in 2022.
Yeah.
What was your motive joining this college? Like, was it your first preference or the last, or somewhat in the midway? You were in the dilemma of choosing this and that college. So, how it all started?
Well, Manipal was not my first choice, but I needed computer science stream
Okay.
and I had an option of AML here. In later rounds, I was offered the CSC main branch, but I went with AML. And not my first choice, but yeah.
Okay. And how was your first year? Like before getting into second year, I know from your first year you have been into studious, group,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you were one of the academic guy we know from the first day. So how was your first year went in totality of different part of your co-curricular and academics?
Well, first year I was not that serious regarding academics, but
Okay.
I was not too lazy as well.
Mhm.
I did study. I started studying just before the exams a week ago. And Manipal's academics are not that tough, and it is pretty easy to get a very good score here. And Yeah, in first year I probably explored a lot. I made a lot of friends that are still with me today.
Yeah.
And first year is usually it's how you settle into your college life because the format is very different as compared to your 11th and 12th.
Okay.
Yeah, and you just need to adapt here.
Mhm.
That's what I did, and making friends is the best thing you do in the first years, and that's what I followed.
Any club you were into or any co-curriculum apart from academics or something?
Well, first years we are in computer science, so we usually go after the technical clubs. And I became a member of IEEE,
Okay.
but I did not join the working team. I just wanted to have fun in my first year. I did join Aperture, but I did not contribute much there in my first year. I did start contributing a bit in the second year. And in terms of clubs, I joined many clubs later on as executive positions, but in my first year I was not that much into it.
Okay, I still remember we both worked in the Aperture,
Yeah.
like in the very few first days.
Yeah.
Apart from that, one thing you mentioned that academics is not that hard in this college.
Yeah, that's
Like keeping this apart because you are someone who has been scoring more than 9 GPAs throughout the
Yeah.
semesters. Is it really not that tough for even average students here?
Yeah, it's not that tough. In my 12th exams, I did not get a really good score.
Mhm.
And after that, I was just like, I had nothing to lose.
Okay.
So if you have to just maintain a good mindset, and it's not easy, you just have to start studying just before the exams. I did not have any knowledge on the 11th and 12th physics, and that's what we usually ask
Yeah.
in our first year. So I had to do everything on the ground up. But the question papers usually come, you know about it. They are usually repeated. The past year questions get recycled into the new question paper. And academics, you just talk to your seniors, discuss what is important in every topics, have a good relationship with your teachers, and study the PYQs. That's about it. What you need for a good academic score here.
Okay, and coming back to the topic that you were not into that much about the clubs or any co-curriculum apart
Yeah.
from the badminton.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something we used to play a lot.
Yeah.
But why not into club? Like nowadays, I have seen that students are really not into the clubs. Is it just because the senior has made a perception that clubs are not helping you in growing a personality or something? It's something that just personally happened to you.
Well, Manipal is a very big college. We have a huge crowd of students as freshers. You are a bit intimidated, and there are a lot of people who are very eager to work. And if you are an introvert or you don't come forward initially, you can get left behind easily. That's what happened to me. I joined Aperture, but I did not work throughout the first or maybe half of the second year. By then, everybody who actually worked as first years already knew each other. So it's really hard to break into groups that have already been formed. That is one of the main reasons, as well as I did not want to spend my time working because I had just finished 12th and I just wanted to enjoy and relax a bit because I knew from second years onwards I had to focus a bit more. So this was more about relaxation and giving myself a good foundation with the basics, especially in coding because I really enjoy that. So my first year was building myself up back because COVID hit a lot of us really hard. And in COVID, you do not have many social interactions. So getting to talk to people again is really hard. at least
Okay.
in our first year.
And one question is, part before entering your academics and the internship part, do you think we all required some friends in college to get throughout that journey or that trauma of a lot of things happening? And do we
Yeah.
require people around us, or it's just like if you are good to go with single mindset, or you can just work alone?
Well, you could work alone, but you would not enjoy that. Friends really help you out a lot because whenever you feel a little troubled, they can
Yeah.
probably help you out, and you have someone you can bounce ideas off of, and you can come up with better solutions. You have a different point of view available, and just collaborating with others is much more. Gives you a faster pace in doing your work as well because you are two people looking at the same problem from different point of view, and you obviously come up with different solutions. And as far as there is a lot of incidents that can happen in your college throughout your college life, and without friends it's really difficult to handle those.
But still, like there are like a lot people say here that friendship will not work for you here. Like in the Manipal specifically, I have some students, or like I have some friends out in other different colleges, but in their college it's not like that. But here I don't know why it's so much that your friend group will ended up different parts or different
Yeah.
kind of other groups.
It's really difficult to manage your life, especially if you're in the hostel, right? So you spend like 4 to 5 hours a day with your friends in college. Then you go back to your rooms and you have another circle of friends there. So it's difficult to manage both of them. And sometimes because Manipal is a huge crowd, there are like 2,000 students in this batch, I think. So finding people that you connect with can be a little difficult because of the numerous people. But I was fortunate enough to find a really good group of friends. I did not. I am still in contact with my friends I made in my college, but the friends I made in hostel are probably the best ones I made. And yeah, that's about it. If you want to make it, can be a little bit difficult because say you are friends with two people, and if you want to hang out together, it's not for sure that your both of friends will also connect together. So there can be clash and rivalry. This is a pitfall many first years fall into in their initial year because they make everybody they meet they are friends with them, and when there are huge amount of people, there are clash of opinions and egos, and it just dissolves.
Okay. And before coming to the second year of yours, any suggestions you would want to draw or give a bit brief about like how students who just end up their 12th and entering engineering college, how should they maintain the dilemma between enjoying and studying at the same time, learning something new, all of this?
First year, as a first year student, you obviously get to study what you studied in your 12th, 11th and 12th, right? So the subjects are not engineering subjects; they are just physics, chemistry, electronics, and then that there are only one or two subjects that are a little difficult. And if you actually listen to the teacher in class, because he obviously knows a lot. He's a doctor, right? He has a PhD. He knows about his subject. Just listen to him while he's teaching, and that too, you don't need to make extensive notes. Just listen what he's saying, important topics that he mentions. Just jot those down. Practice the numericals. Ask doubts. I'm not saying that you need to sit on the first bench and be just hyper focused in your class. So you can enjoy a bit. Have a If you have a good group of friends that also enjoy studying and are focused in their academics, that is a really good indicator because if you have friends that also want to achieve something that are focused that yes I would have to do good in academics, then just with peer pressure can be good in this case because if you see someone else studying, you will also get motivated. Oh shit, I have to also study. My this subject is lagging behind, and many first years don't think that internal CWS marks matter a lot,
Okay, yes.
but they do. We both know about that. Just keep your labs updated on time, get them checked. It's not that much work, and
Apart from academics.
apart from academics, you study in college around 4 hours a day. You have 8 lecture maximum.
Including the classes.
Including the classes. Not 8 lectures, that's a bit too much. But yeah, 5 hours is the maximum. Let's segregate 2 hours for food. And even if you spend 3 hours doing co-curricular, hanging out with friends, playing a sport that you enjoy, you still have a lot of time left over. Just I would suggest just explore what you like. You can probably find an hour or two a day to explore new technologies. If you're centric towards tech, you can probably find new stacks that you can learn. Just explore a bit, get into between HTML and something.
bring me to your third year from the second year. Like, what was your trajectory in your second year and third year? How things was going? I think 9 GPAs in all the semesters.
Yeah,
minimum 9.
I just had my first semester. I got an 8.95.
9.95.
Yeah.
But from the ninth
Yeah.
semester. So how was your 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th semesters? Keeping in mind the academics also, the other things you are exploring also. Were you in the touch of with the touch of seniors, or were you listening some seniors or something like? What was your all trajectory of second and third year?
So basically, at least in the first year, I got the idea how do you score marks in this college.
Okay.
And if you have that process down, it's really easy. You don't have to worry about academics that much. And for seniors, I would say I have an elder sister who's also in tech. So she's not from this college and is pretty older than me, 5 years. But she obviously knew what.
She's in the industry.
Yeah. So she obviously knew what the pitfalls were that students face in their first years, and she guided me through it. And I had some good seniors as well. But our batch was the COVID batch. So when we came, it had been just a semester since they also had started coming, because our senior batch also did not have. They had their first year here, but it was pretty optional that you can have your first year here, or you can take classes from. So it was difficult for them. So senior wise, in my second year, I did not have that much contact with anybody. But yes, after in my second year, you get introduced to subjects like DS. So I obviously was hyper focused on stuff like DSA, because I knew that would help me later on, because in interviews DSA is the most asked topic, and you get eliminated if you don't have enough knowledge on it. So I had DSA, then there was OOPS, as well as OS came in first semester. But yeah, in these you get introduced to engineering subjects, and if you start studying, you will obviously get the idea that if you are into tech, because if you start studying OS and you are like, no, this is not my forte, then you obviously need to pivot, because it will get worse as you go further into your engineering, because the complexity will just keep on increasing. And if you are not into tech, then there are a lot of options. You can start studying for other competitive exams. And yeah, that's about it. And in my second year, I did start participating in hackathons. I got into web technology. My stream was artificial intelligence, but they don't usually introduce those topics, especially in the third semester.
Not that early.
Yeah, that early. They usually come down the line in fourth or fifth semester. And your course curriculum also keeps evolving, because our branch is an honors branch, and they keep refreshing your curriculum every 2 years. So what we had, the next batch of students had completely different things that they studied in the second year. And yeah, that's what.
Third year.
Oh yeah, third year after second year. So in my summer break of second year, I started doing the DSA daily, because that's probably the best time that you can grow
And
yourself.
that you were started in your early phase of second year also.
Yeah, in second year they won't introduce you to the level of knowledge that you need, especially in terms of DSA and other subjects. So you just get an idea. I was fortunate enough to have a really good teacher for DSA. She taught me a lot, and I had a pretty good foundation, because they start you in C, and that is the most stripped down basic language, and you get to know a lot about how memory is also managed. So in my second year, I started focusing on DSA, and that time I did like 100 questions in that summer break, because summer break is probably the best time you have to develop yourself, right? Because you don't have the burden of your academics. You are just at home. If you don't have an internship, that's really very less students have an internship after your second year. So yeah,
And I think many of them think that it's not even the right time to get into internship. They feel even they don't know much to get into internship or industry.
Yeah, that is probably what a lot of people think, but that is not the right thing to do. Because when I went into my internship in my third year, I also felt like I know very less that I am supposed to know. But when you are in a competitive environment, and when you have especially seniors that you see each other on daily basis, they guide you a lot. Especially in ISRO, there was an apprentice in my lab. He used to guide me constantly. Probably half the errors I faced, problems I ran into, he had also run into those. So if you have such good seniors and such good help, you grow a lot and you grow very fast. So if someone feels like that I'm not ready, you should still give your best in any application that you fill or any interview that you give, because even if you get hired and you still don't know, you think you don't know much about the topic, you'll learn eventually. And in my second year after that, I did a little bit of DSA. In my third year, things started really picking up pace. So there is this hackathon in our college, HackX. I attended that. We cleared the first round, and that's when I actually felt that yes, even if you have less knowledge, you can still make stuff. Because at the end, DSA won't help you that much.
And we all are at the same level. Somehow.
Yeah, exactly. There are outliers, of course. There are students that know very much, that are basically cracked. Because I have probably done web technology.
And GSOC also.
Yeah, and GSOC. Yeah, we have juniors around that here, and they have probably done web tech before they came to the college or in their first year as well. There are students like that. But it's not about competing with others. You have to focus on yourself. How were you before this hackathon, and what have you gained from this hackathon? And start learning tools early on. GitHub is something that you can get into really early.
So let's get into the ISRO part. I have some parts where we should discuss. Number one is just how you get to know about the ISRO internship, or how you get to know that you should join this. Like it was in your plan list or something, or it just happened a random day.
ISRO probably, what happened was, the ISRO that I went to, ISRO Ahmedabad, hires interns that have finished their third year.
Okay.
There is a lot of opportunity to join government organizations, research organizations like different IITs or IISCs, DRDO. And you could also get an opportunity after the end of your second year. Many faculties are basically the liaisons between our college and these organizations. You can get into that, but ISRO Ahmedabad hires students have completed their third year.
Okay.
So my friend Maldik also got an internship at ISRO. So he told me a little bit about the process, and I fortunately still had time to submit an application. So the process was relatively easy. I just filled in the application. I got the signs of all the teachers and officials that you have to get from your college, and I just made the application. After that, so they have a time period of 45 days.
Okay.
If you have not received a response in 45 days, you probably won't receive it. You can try at other locations. I received my confirmation on the 46th day.
Okay.
So I had pretty much given up hope that I would get an internship, but they shortlisted me. After that, I had a call with my mentor, and I had the skills that he was exactly what he was looking for. So he was looking for a guy who could deploy websites in Python, as well as someone who could develop RAGs and chatbots. So that is what I had done for my projects in second year, and I was probably one of the better fits for that job from other candidates, and he selected me. The other thing is CGPA.
Yes.
So when you mail in your application, the format of the naming of that application has to be your name, your college, and then your GPA.
Okay.
So they just shortlist based on what GPA you have mentioned.
Okay.
So if somebody has a GPA of less than, let's say, 8.5, they can just rule those all applications out in initial screening as well. Because how ISRO Ahmedabad functions is, they have a department that takes a huge amount of applications from all colleges, and then they segregate those that are not even eligible. Let's say some college that they don't usually hire from, or someone who has a really low GPA, and then they forward all these applications to different divisions within ISRO. And then the scientists can then read those applications, see what skills a person has, and what type of projects he has done in the past. And if he thinks you are a good fit, he'll give you a call.
So students with higher GPAs has some edge.
Yeah, they have a huge edge in that case.
At least in the ISRO itself.
Yeah, in the ISRO itself.
So, and you went completely off campus for the internship.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
and I think that's harder.
Yeah, that's harder.
Yeah, that's harder. Because the thing is, students from IITs are applying, students from NITs are applying, and you have to compete all over India, apart from your college also. So, how things went for you? Like, were you sure about that you will get into this, or like, what was the whole process in your mind throughout your submission?
When I applied to ISRO just after my friend got his offer, I was pretty optimistic that I could also probably get an offer. He and I had different domains.
Yes.
He was more towards deep learning and that kind of stuff, while I was more towards tech as well as deploying applications. So because it's a research intern, I always wondered if we even wanted the knowledge or skills that I had specific to web, because I thought it was mainly focused towards research. So after 15, 20 days, 30, after a month, I had pretty much given up hope. I was thinking what I would do in my coming summer vacations. I was applying to other companies as well for summer internships, but I did get an offer, and I was pretty lucky in that case because I got an offer at a test division rather than a research division. That meant that they actually needed people to deploy applications, and there are very less divisions that focus towards this, especially in ISRO. And as you said, there is a huge talent pool that they hire from, because I knew students from IITs, NITs as well. So yeah, I was pretty. I had given up hope around after a month.
Okay.
But I still got an internship. But the best thing that helped me to get this internship was the coursework of PVL.
Okay.
So AIML branch, at least in my curriculum, has project-based learning from the third or fourth semester. It's from the third semester, and they ask you to make a project in your third semester. And I always wondered in my third semester as well that I know nothing. How can I make an application when I don't even know how to serve a website with Python? I knew HTML, CSS probably someone can know, but you don't get into backend early on, and you are intimidated to start doing this stuff. But that's probably the best thing that helped me. I had really good mentor for PVL. He guided us, and after I made my first project, I got to know, it's not that difficult. If you just start something, you can probably take help from your seniors, your friends, and your mentors, and you can finish it. And since the AI is really helpful, at least in the early parts of your learning, but I would suggest as you go deeper into your project, you should wean off of AI, because if you don't know why you are implementing a function instead of another method that can still do the same thing, you are not building the project. The AI is building the project for you, and that's really one of the major problems that students face, because they think, I know Python, I can build an application in Python, but when they had made the project, they had used AI. So when if you are going somewhere that you don't have access to this, you just go blank. Oh, how do I even start writing the code for this thing? That's probably the thing that many students face. And PBL, well, it went on for my fourth semester, fifth semester, and then the minor project in my sixth semester. So those projects that I did was also the project that they wanted me to do in ISRO, but on a really larger scale, and that probably helped me a lot.
And keeping this mind that you went off campus, do you believe the student actively should apply on off campus apart from the on campus? What's happening right now is they think that they should get some skill after they start applying, or they should all just focus on the on campus placements or on campus opportunity to be specific. So do you believe it's better to at least explore yourself off campus actively rather than just applying on the on campus stuff?
For summer internships after your third year, there are not a lot of opportunities on campus. So you are forced to go to off campus applications, and there are some applications for ISRO as well on campus, but I went the other route. As you said, it was totally off campus, and if you go off campus, you probably have a lesser chance of being selected. Luck plays a really big role here, because somebody who had the same qualifications as I had, but I had my call early on, and the mentor found what he was looking for. He won't even interview the other person in that much depth if he thinks that I already have the person I'm looking for. So there is a huge talent pool that applies off campus, and luck plays a really big factor there. But because luck plays a big factor and there is a lot of talent pool, you have to build a lot. You have to go to quantity, and you instead of quality, you have to apply to a really huge amount of different places to get selected. And many students also build connections early on. So if they know one of their seniors who is doing good at his company, especially if he's in a startup or something, then they probably hire students who the employees working in that organization recommend, because then company does not have to shortlist bunch of people and then interview them, because they trust their employees. And if someone says that this person is a good fit, after one interview you know if you want him or not. So building connections is probably one of the better ways to crack an off-campus internship. But on campus there is it's the same thing. There are a lot less opportunities, and when 2,000, 3,000 people will apply for it, it's the same as equivalent of off-campus. There are a huge number of applications, but even humongous number of people applying for them. That's about it.
Coming to the part that you said, having good CGPAs help you to get into ISRO, like
Yeah.
give you an edge.
Yeah.
Apart from the CGPA or the academic history, what are the other skills that in ISRO look for in a student or interns? Like, what are the different kind of fields that a student should have a grip on to at least before applying to the ISRO?
Yeah, so there are probably two types of students who apply to ISRO. One are totally towards research,
Okay.
who just want to go there and build something new from scratch.
Okay.
Or some people like or someone who is more towards development, whether it be mobile app or web. There are also people like me who are somewhere in the middle, who know a bit of both. So if you are from the first category who focuses on research, then you should obviously know the libraries, specifically TensorFlow and PyTorch, to be honest, for machine learning, as well as scikit-learn. Because if you can't build a, let's say, a very simple CNN model, or very simple some built-in model that you can't use without GPT's or AI's help, then probably you should start working on that. You should be able to write code that is good and reliable. You should probably have done projects in something that you are applying for. So let's say if you are applying for a research internship specifically towards deep learning, you should have projects in that area. You should have written a research paper. It does not have to be novel work. You can do a review paper. Research papers is probably one of the better things, because they know, this person can actually go to the web, find existing solutions, understand them, and then build something new. Because that is what they want at the end, right? They want someone that can read up on other research papers and then combine them and build something for themselves. If you have implemented a research paper, that is a huge plus. If you have read a research paper, you know what technologies he's talking about using, and then you replicate that on your machine. That is probably one of the better things you can do, and it will also help you build a lot, because then you have to start from scratch, right? You have to set up your environment, you have to do everything yourselves, and that is a very big point.
Okay.
Whereas someone who is going towards web should probably have made one or two websites, whether it be his portfolio or some application. If he can build an application that actually deploys ML model, let's say, where it's full stack, you have your front end, you have a back end, you have a model that can also give you predictions. That is probably the best thing you can do for someone like me. Or if you are totally into web dev, it's a lesser chance that you will get selected, because ISRO does not have that much web. They don't need interns for that, because they have their own employees that maintain their applications. And well, ISRO is not like an exact corporate organization, right? It has its internal problems, internal stuff that it needs to keep up on websites. So that is only what they hired for.
Okay.
Whereas the research, that is the main thing they are focused on. So ISRO has huge amounts of data, right? They launch satellites, so they have very, very big amounts of data, especially satellite data. So if you can work on things like that, like satellite data, there are probably some data sets that are available online for everybody. If you can work on that, that is a huge plus, because that is what you will be doing, right? You will be working on similar type of data, how you scale those data down, that data down. That is what you need to do.
Before going to how was your experience in the ISRO, just have some discussion on, like, obviously we have to keep up our academics and the GPAs.
Yeah.
Is there any website or any platform in the college
Yeah.
where you can use the like PYQs or notes or something, like anything out there that will help in the academics itself?
MUJ is probably one of the best examples, and it has everything that you need, PYQs and everything else. That is what you need for academics.
I'll just conclude all the things. The thing is, you have to apply either through campus or off campus. Off campus, you have to fill a application then, and keeping in mind your CGPA or GPA should have a higher, like chance, like if you have a higher GPA, you have a higher chance. Apart from that, you will get shortlisted. Then you
Yeah.
have an interview.
Yeah. So you would have after you get shortlisted, you would receive a mail with the mentor that wants you in his division. He'll grill you on stuff that
Okay.
obviously he wants you to do here. So if you are going to web dev, he'll probably ask you three questions that you can probably find top 10 interview questions, top 30 interview questions for your topics, and any projects that you have. It's good to have projects live on GitHub, on Versal or something that you can quickly showcase. And theory, don't forget about theory, especially if you are applying towards DL or something. Then they will probably ask you to solve a small
DL is
numerical-
data learning.
yeah, deep learning.
Deep learning.
So he will probably ask you to compute the input and output of a neural network. So you should know that theory, how what the formula is, because it is possible to compute this stuff without knowing the exact the formulas, but you don't have that much time. So you really have to go in depth and have to know those formulas and everything beforehand, because you won't get this chance again, right? And one of the things that I did was I only applied in ISRO Ahmedabad. I did not apply anywhere else, and I was fortunate enough to get a revert and to get an offer from there. But I would encourage you to diversify your portfolio where you apply to. There are IITs, there are NITs, there are multiple ISROs. There are, I think, more than 20 ISROs. Every ISRO focuses on different thing, as well as Shri Harikota Center in Karnataka. They also hire, and they hire for a shorter time. So I think they don't allow you to do an internship for more than a month.
Okay.
Whereas ISRO Ahmedabad has a lower bound of minimum 8 weeks.
Okay.
So you have to do that, or you won't get a certificate. So you have to obviously research all the things, all the organizations that you are going to apply to.
And what was your CGPA when you was applying to the ISRO?
So I had a CGPA of 9.19 when I applied.
9.19.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. And
probably one of the other things is if you have, participated in SIH.
Okay.
And if you have won the award for your problem statement, that is a huge boost, because they know because you see, SIH also has problem statement from ISRO. So if you win that problem statement, they probably know you, and you can also build connections there. The people can get to know you, and they can probably refer you to someone else who can apply. And SIH, even if you have not won, you can still mention SIH finalist. That also tells the mentor that yes, this is a student who can actually make new stuff and deploy things. He's not like many of the other he's of his batchmates that just uses AI.
yes.
Using AI is not bad, but if you only know how to use AI, that's very bad.
Fine. So it was the month of May this year, 25. We
Yeah.
both were roaming in the campus, in the GHS,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you told me that you got into ISRO, you got the offer.
Yeah.
So now we are into the discussion of how was your experience, what was your
Yeah.
reaction when you got the offer. Because I remember we were ahead of the pizza bakers or somewhere in the
Yeah.
Sanjay, and you told me that you got an offer from ISRO, and it was all of the sudden, like
Yeah.
yesterday we didn't had any discussion about it or anything. Like, what was your reaction when you got the offer, and how
I
was
was surprised because
Yes.
I had given up hope. I was searching for other organizations, or probably making plans of what I would study for that semester. And I was shocked, and I was happy that I got into ISRO. And after that, you just get into back and forth with your mentor. He tells you a lot about how what you have to do, the prerequisites you have to do that. So yeah, I was shocked and happy at the same time about
And
ISRO.
in the June and July you went
Yeah.
to the Ahmedabad, and how was that?
So I had a joining date of May 21st.
May 21st.
So they only allow you to join on the 1st, the 11th, or the 21st.
Okay.
So if that's a Saturday or Sunday, you get the next Monday, obviously, when you have to join. And I had a joining date of 21st. I went there on the 19th. I went there on the 19th. They refused the entry because I had the joining of 21st.
Yeah.
So my mentor sorted it out. He allowed. I was in there by the afternoon, and I just got to know everybody because I was pretty lucky to get into the test division. So my division was PCTD. It was payload, checkout, and test division. So what my division was, they got a satellite has usually 3 panels, and the satellite is a cube, right? So it has three panels: the Earth's left north panel and the south panel. So those all panels would come to my lab where they would be tested. So different departments of ISRO would manufacture that product, those all different components. They would be assembled, then tested in my division. So it was a really big division, and I was lucky to get into PCTD. And so there were a lot of different types of projects that were going on. They had my project was specifically on one was for developing a software to help test those satellites and those panels and those components, while the other was to build an internal chatbot for ISRO, because like you know that ISRO documents are sensitive. You can't publicly share those to, let's say, OpenAI servers, because they obviously store that data, right, and that's confidential. So I had to build a whole offline model that could query, save context. I had to build a RAG that could also give really specific and correct answers, because they would need specific values from that document, right? And the LLMs can hallucinate or not. They can just guesstimate a value, but they needed something exactly from the document. So that was a pretty big challenge that I faced. While these two projects, there are also multiple other projects. ISRO Ahmedabad used to be the previous main ISRO. Now I think Bangalore is the main one, but ISRO Ahmedabad used to be the previous one, and so the campus is really big. So there are quantum labs. If you are into quantum computing or those technologies, you can still apply to ISRO, because they hire interns for that as well. And there are one of my friends actually started building a foundational model. So that is, if you are into something, that is also what you could pursue ISRO. And after a week, I was settled into my comfort zone. I knew people around me, and they assigned me a computer, all the onboarding stuff that happened, and then I just started building my project. During my time, there were 2-3 projects that were ongoing in my lab. So 2-3 different satellites were being tested. So I got to see those. ISRO is not only just a growing phase, but it is also where you can actually get your eyes open at what tech is really like, especially with your first internship. You have just played with toy projects, right? You have just made something that probably someone else won't use. But when you have a deadline on your head, and you know that this project is going to be used by numerous people, at that time I think you can develop something really beautiful under that pressure. Yeah, seriously, you actually grow mentally as well. That is probably why recruiters prefer someone who has previously interned, because he knows what kind of work that is done in production. That is it. And if you go to ISRO Ahmedabad, your mentor will probably show you around the whole campus. That is a great experience. You see the quantum lab, you see the lab where the paths are made, where they test those individual paths. Then my division, where they test all those paths together. That is a really, let's say, it's a perk, because seeing stuff like this that probably you won't see ever in your life. If you don't work as a full-time employee at ISRO. So it's also, let's say, you have bragging rights.
Yes,
but still, it's really eye-opening experience.
And it has a value in market that you are an intern at ISRO.
That's true, because there are huge amount of people, and if a recruiter sees that if you have worked at ISRO or some other prestigious organization, they would obviously prefer you, because
at least take a shot on you, like for the interview.
Yeah, exactly. Because obviously, if you have done an internship at big tech or something, probably he or she will get a better chance. But ISRO is among the top institutes that you can do an internship for, and probably that's about it.
Okay, and in very short, if you want to discuss, apart from this work and all the things you were doing at the ISRO, what was the other connection opportunity you had, or what was the other co-curriculum, if any were?
This is a really good question, because you will all probably find more employees there who have been in this industry for a long time.
Yes.
And they are, if you have my mentor is pretty good, and some other people who are not full-time employees, but let's say apprentice or contract engineers, they have a lot of they have a really big circle, and they know people in other companies, in corporate companies as well. So they can probably get your referral through that as well. So if you go to an ISRO, yeah, you should probably talk to your seniors and everyone else. You should maintain a good relationship with them, because down the line, let's say if you can't crack something on campus, if you're facing troubles off campus, you can approach them and they can refer you to
You
some.
already build your deck.
Yeah, exactly. As I said earlier, network is a really big thing that students, when they realize that it's such a big advantage, at that time it's probably too late.
Exactly. So I think that is almost everything we had to cover in this session or this podcast. Before ending this, would you suggest anything to the junior watching this video or podcast? So this it's your last year in the campus
Yeah.
as a senior, as a super senior too.
Yeah, so I would say if you're in your first year, probably enjoy and just make friends. A smaller group of friends is probably better than a larger group of friends.
That's true.
And build yourself up, have a good foundation, learn how to score marks in Manipal. And then in your second year, if you're in second year, I think you should start buckling down, and you should focus on your academics as well as technology, because what they teach you in your college probably won't help you that much in building application, in building stuff. If you're in a third year, I think it's really time to focus on streamlining your resume, because if you're in your fourth year and you are still seeing, yeah, I need to do this so that I can justify this being on my resume, is not a good thing. If you have done this in your third year, you could probably get placed at the end of third year, because there are companies in our college that come in our third year, at the end of our third year, and they'll hire you as an intern and then also give you a pre-placement offer after that internship. And students that get those offers are probably one of the lucky ones. They also worked hard, so they are the most studious ones. Because if you get placed in your third year, you are just free from any mental pressure that I am that my, let's say my seventh semester is ending, I don't have a placement yet, or I don't have a good enough placement. So third year is probably the time where you should give finishing touches to the projects that you want to include in your resume. You should have done lead code, and I know that in our college, lead code is probably the one everything prefers, but code forces and code shift is also something that students should dabble a bit in, because in your online assessments, they won't ask you stuff like direct lead code questions. They'll give you story type questions that you have this scenario after
This and this city.
yeah,
this
exactly,
road
exactly.
connected.
So you have to actually know how to identify which pattern of the problem belongs to. So that is probably you should do. And if in your fourth year, I would say best of luck.
I think that's all from our side. I'll just drop his LinkedIn, Gmail, not Gmail,
Gmail,
mobile
no.
number, not mobile number.
You can drop a link. You can message me on
Yes,
LinkedIn. I'll
LinkedIn.
reply.
He won't accept that, obviously. Now he's a ISRO guy, and I'll just try to ask him if he'll available or to write a blog on our website, like the whole process of getting into ISRO or getting an internship from ISRO. So you can read a blog on mujtoppers.in that too.
You can probably aggregate all the different
Yes.
resources, the different organizations.
Whatever you use or
Yeah, exactly. The website that you have to apply to do that. And,
yes.
I guess application how you have to fill that. But that's we can do that.
Okay. That's all from our side. Thank you so much for watching this channel. Good day. How it feel coming to this channel after having such great GPAs, ISRO internship? How it feel to get another milestone in your life?